Power on. Select your players.
Pierre, Sarah, Kain.
Select your topic.
Games.
Select your format.
Entertaining podcast.
They're called the Button Boys. So make some funky noise. 'Cause they're gonna talk about video gaming and stuff.
Button Boys.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Toilet Time. We're doing Button Boys today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Sorry. Button Boys, welcome to Button Boys. You're Sarah Keyworth, you're Pierre Novelli, and I'm Glenn Moore, and we're talking video games. And same topic as always. What have you guys been playing?
I've been playing, because you guys have talked about it so much, Dredge.
Ooh,
Hey! What did you think?
I'm really enjoying it. It's a lovely
Yeah.
little game. I realised something. I realised that I have an overactive imagination and a stubbornness to then judge a book by the cover that I've created in my
Right.
head. So when you've been talking about Dredge, I've been picturing it as really sort of dark and dank and horrible. And
Yeah.
it's actually, it's very sort of soothing and quite pretty.
During the day. During the
It
looks
day.
lovely.
Yeah.
So, for anyone who's never heard of Dredge, how would you describe it?
Dredge, you are controlling a little fishing trawler in a
Mm-hmm.
very sort of simple mechanic way. You're just a little boat. It reminds me of like games from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really simple mechanics of moving a boat around. And you've washed up, or you hit some rocks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're on your ship. It hits some rocks. You end up on an island. They're like, your boat's fucked. We'll help you out, but you're going to pay off a debt.
Mhm.
So we're going to lend you this boat, and you can work off that money.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go and catch fish and bring it back, and then obviously you get more tasks and more object pursuits, it's
Yeah.
called, as you're playing. And there's a sort of compendium of fish for you to discover. And I've met a grieving father who wants me to find a belt.
Yeah.
And
And there's haunted fish.
There's haunted fish, but I'm not quite sure why.
It made me feel a bit like you summed it up perfectly, that sense of, in real life, going up the stairs at night and being like, someone's going to chase me.
Really?
That in Dredge, I got the sense of being chased loads,
Yeah.
especially when it gets to night. And you
Oh,
see,
yeah.
because there's so much under the sea, there's so much just happening that you cannot see at all.
Yeah.
And I would often in Dredge just not go out at night because I was like, well, the
Yeah,
game
that's
is
what
telling me
I'm-
it's not worth it.
But then the game's like, oh, you can only catch this guy at night. So you're kind of like, well, okay.
Fuck's sake,
So I'll
yeah.
wait till it starts to get dark, and then on my way home, I'll try
Yes.
and do it.
Yeah. I'll pop in and see if Wix is still open. But other
Yeah.
than that, I'm not,
Yeah. But if it's shut, I'm not
I'm
bothering.
not breaking in at 2 a.m. Yeah.
No way. No,
Well,
not a Wix.
It's a Cthulhu-based thing.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of demons at the heart of it
Mm.
as Sinking City with the Gorilla Man.
Yes, and it feels like a similar
Yeah.
vibe. But I like the way the game sort of quite gently talks you through it. Like everything is just happening in sort of dialogue boxes, and it will be like you walk in and you see a mysterious stranger glaring at you, and then it'll be like you hand the fish over, and it's quite simple. It's
This is exactly what Promised Mascot Agency was. I was talking about last week. You are just playing a truck and you're driving around, and those
Yeah.
dialogue boxes are exactly the same when
Yeah.
people flash up. And the upgrade system's really satisfying in Dredge. It's all very
Yes.
incremental and very small, but
Yeah.
you look forward to saving up to get your big net.
Yeah.
And so that
I'm looking forward to having a net.
Yeah.
I was
And I'm
really
hoping
bad-
my boat will go quicker at some stage.
it will, and
You can imagine.
I
Good.
did. The only thing I didn't like about Dredge, and it's not a criticism of the game, it's just my own impatience. I never ever felt happy with my storage space.
Yeah.
My storage space was appallingly low the whole time. Maybe I just didn't upgrade it well enough.
I really like the noise when you catch a
A horrible fish.
a horrible Cthulhu fish.
That out of tune piano sound. I loved that. Yeah, it felt so wrong.
Oh,
and
like
you feel so
sort of
mucky.
a dropped accordion type thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of that. And
Yeah.
I really get the sense of something slithered into the cabin. It's
Yeah.
really unpleasant because it then infects other fish, doesn't it? You got to get rid of it early doors.
Does it?
It rots faster or something, or
I thought it was that it had an impact on other fish.
well, no, because I don't think so. Because sometimes the mutants sell for more, so they wouldn't upgrade your fish. But
I love a disease mechanic in games, and I don't know why. I think ever since the corrupted blood incident in World of Warcraft, have you ever heard of this?
No.
This was in the fucking news.
What?
But back in like 2006. This is great. So, and I'm probably going to tell it wrong. Apologies to World of Warcraft fans. And if you're hearing this, take this with a pinch of salt if you're hearing this for the first time. So years and years ago, in World of Warcraft, which is obviously a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, there was some boss. in a cave that everyone could take on. And this boss would hit you with a status effect that would just constantly chip away at your health, like a poison. And it would be really contagious and all your teammates would get it. But you were locked in this cave. What happened was one day someone accidentally glitched out the cave with this disease. And the game hadn't accommodated for this. And there ended up being like, I think, a study on it about human psychology.
It's COVID.
When there's a pandemic. Because within days it was like, do not go into the towns. Everyone was trying to avoid each other. Everyone was like staying off the roads. The entire every town was just hugely infected because NPCs got it. They weren't dying, but they were able to give it to you as well.
Oh,
so
fuck.
yeah, so you really had to stay away, and they had to like obviously patch it within a couple of days. But it completely changed World of Warcraft. I think it's amazing.
That sounds like an incredible, like, sort of Halloween thing to happen in a game like that.
Yeah.
You just go for 2 days. There's a virus.
Yes, exactly. I think it's so fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
In Dragon's Dogma 2, which came out last year, which was the an RPG I was telling you guys about a few weeks ago, where you had a series of like mercenaries that you hired and you sort of loaned them out to other people overnight while you weren't playing. There was a sort of a disease that your mercenaries could pick up, and you'd see it in their eyes and you'd see it in their mannerisms slightly. They get a bit twitchy, and if you didn't deal with it enough and you didn't kick them out your party, it would spread to your other people and kill them. But also, it could spread to the entire town. So some people, towards the end of the game, would stay in an inn, wake up in the morning, and the entire city is dead, and everyone's dead, and they're like, I can't finish the game.
It's over.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, I can't do I can finish the game, but I just can't do any of the missions I was doing in the city because it's killed every single NPC because one of my teammates had like glowing eyes.
That's really funny.
I think it's so cool. I mean, obviously, it's infuriating if it happens to you.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But yeah, I think it's great.
Imagine being patient zero in that World of Warcraft situation.
Delete your account.
And so
Knowing-
but so blameless.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have fucked that bat. Why did I do that?
I had the
Yeah, just was weird little pop up that comes up going, do you want to fuck the bat?
Yeah,
You go,
yeah.
Well, I could
no one's-
could
yeah.
unlock something.
I'm
Blue
ho-
tack over the webcam. So
I'm,
yeah,
I'm home alone.
Special item.
yeah. Pierre, what have you been playing?
I have finally stopped playing. I'm not going to say finished, but I've stopped playing Blueprints.
Yes, so you posted in Discord. Well done on
Well,
feeling comfortable
Yeah.
in yourself enough to go, I'm not completing it, I'm finishing it
Yeah.
on my terms.
Yes.
What caused that?
I got to
You're parting as equals.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got to the first ending a while back.
Yes, the Reach Room 46,
Yeah.
which I've nearly done.
So close.
Yep, I've reached the antechamber, which if anyone plays knows is like the second to last step before getting there. So I've nearly reached the credits, but that's not in
Is
any
there
way
an
the end of the game.
uncle chamber?
Is that you trying to seduce an aunt? I'm Auntie Chamber. Is there an Uncle Chamber? Do you mean am I married? Yeah.
This
So you
had
don't
way
call your
more, just had way more of an impact than I thought it was.
Yeah, I just
I
really enjoyed it.
thought you'd go, oh, okay.
Yeah. I am also a big fan of any. Is there a widower twanky?
Is there a Mr.
No.
Mr.
Well,
Take?
obviously it can't be.
Yeah. No.
I like to do this. Nobody laughs, but when somebody says antihistamines, I say antihistamines for the feminists.
So, yeah.
It's good
But it's
fun.
just for the ladies.
Yeah.
Yes. So I met Uncle Chamber, and I got the credits to roll, and then you keep going, and there's a kind of second ending, and I got to that, and I knew there were things that I hadn't like. You see things that where you go, that's a clue. I know that's a clue.
Yeah.
Like if you sort of, when I use my special vision, I see that on this one window is written these numbers or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like a crumbly wall in a video game, and you go, I know later on I can upgrade to get through that.
Absolutely.
I love spotting those in real life. Every
Yeah.
time I see a different patch of wall, it's obviously because a car hit it several years ago and killed a man.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'm going to upgrade my weapon one day and I'm going to get
We'll
through
just
that.
slash through that.
Yeah.
There used to be a cash point here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
See Glenn kicking a wall.
Yeah, and I can turn on like detective vision to see CNA behind the storefront.
constantly going behind waterfalls
Yeah.
because you think there's going to be a sword. Yeah, so I got to that point and I knew there was more because I knew there were clues and I knew there were puzzles I hadn't solved, and I just thought, I have a suspicion based on the escalation in difficulty and type of puzzle that the next level is impossible for me and infuriating. So I'm not doing it. And so I stopped playing and I went on the wiki, the Special Blueprints wiki, and I looked up all of the things that I would have.
Here's what you could have won.
Yeah, and I was right.
You were like, I would never have done this. I would never have enjoyed it.
Figuring this out would have ruined my personal and professional life.
Yeah.
We all push ourselves too far.
That's one for the Patreon.
Yes. This is men's mental health.
Yeah.
It's good to know when to walk away sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that it was a big step in my life a few years ago of approaching open world games and going, I'm not going to do everything. I'm going to do as much as I want to do. And I think it was through playing games, like when I bought an open world game where I was like, I feel like I should play this. I don't really want to. I'd go, I'm already not enjoying this enough to care about the main mission.
You can feel the to-do list sort of mounting pressure.
Yeah. And I actually quite enjoy going, there's a side quest. I might do that if I have the time, but I'm not. I'm just going to play it at my own pace.
I'm going to have to let you know whether I can save your son.
Yeah, we'll take a ranger on that. I'm really pleased for you. Genuinely.
Yeah. It's annoying because like the other stuff is cool, but then like there's some stuff in the game where once you know how it all works, there are, I don't know if it'd be fair to call them red herrings, but like you go
that in a puzzle game can fuck off as a concept.
But but if you go on Reddit, there's like whole conspiracies and theories about things, and like people are up to their eyeballs and going, but if we combine
I think this is beating the game.
Yeah, you've done it.
Yeah.
You've done it.
But
this is walking away from the game as beating the game.
Yeah, true. Because I get to be out here.
Yeah.
The game is in there. But it is interesting that there's such a rich and massive and frighteningly complex game. Has conspiracy theorists because of how deep it is. And they're saying,
always unhealthy.
But what if there's a bit of the game that's hidden? And so what people have done online is they've gone into the code of the game to see what the code says.
Yeah.
They haven't beaten the game.
No. But then people on Reddit are commenting that to them.
They're drowning in their
saying
relationship.
to them, there's a bit in the game that says when things end or whatever. And they're like, this is what, you've got the madness.
Yeah, because they probably put it in as a bit of fun. The designer probably doesn't even
those people.
Doesn't even remember writing that bit in, or he put it in as a little like maybe we'll do some DLC in the future.
Yeah,
there's a room 47. You know, like, but that's unhealthy.
Yeah,
we should start jumping on these threads and starting rumors.
Yeah, I just encountered this and just put an AI screenshot of a different person.
Yeah,
have you guys found this?
Yeah,
I did it on my first run. You really should know how to do this.
If you find this room, real gold comes out of your console.
Yeah,
people were talking about like how to trigger bugs to the remaining little nubbin of something that was cut to happen and things like it's that level.
It was cut. Leave it there.
Yeah, but they want more.
It's like seeing someone try and put their full tongue in a jam jar to get like the last bits.
You
of jam.
silly bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go,
Go on,
it's
buy a new
empty. It's empty. You finished that jar.
Yeah.
Buy a new bomber mat. Buy a new bomber mat.
Would you buy a new bomber mat? Bomber mat is gone.
I can't wait to see what Spotify subtitling makes of
buy
a new bomber mat.
Considering what it does with Pierre Novelli.
Oh, Piano Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No Valley.
Piano Valley.
Piano Valley.
Welcome to Piano Valley.
That's a game.
Yeah. Infuriating.
But it's echoing off the valley.
Yeah.
It's fucking piano.
It's a cacophony. It's horrible.
Yeah. Piano Valley is a Pokemon town has name.
Yeah.
The game I've been playing this week, I held off from this for ages because I knew it was just a bad idea to revisit it. It was one of my favourite games as a kid. It got remastered recently, and it's going to bring us onto our main topic. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. Now, when I was about 9 years old, I read every single thing I could about this. Didn't have the internet at home, but had like a couple of PlayStation magazines, and I would literally like look up words in the dictionary in the previews to be like, oh, what does this verb mean to do? I was trying to imagine the entirety of the game. And I was so excited to play it, and I played it. It was one of my favourite games of all time. There's a third person game in which you play a vampire called Raziel, who works for a much more important vampire called Kain, you and all your brothers.
Yeah.
Kain gets jealous of you because you can grow wings. And so he tears your wings off and he throws you into an abyss and it kills you. And you end up dead and just emaciated in your weird sort of blue or purple colour blindness, not entirely sure. But it was at a really, and basically the idea is it works a bit like the original Red Dead Redemption, in which you were going around killing your old colleagues and your teammates sort of one by one. So it is like killing Bill and Javier and Dutch in Red Dead Redemption. But they all lived in really cool locations, cool sounding locations like the Silenced Cathedral and the Drowned Abbey. And it just felt very cool as a kid. It was just this whole completely original, unique setting, and all the characters seemed so interesting as a kid, and it was full of monsters which I was obsessed with, and the mechanic it had, which still is cool to this day, was you could be in the spectral realm and the real world, and at any point you could basically just go, I'm going to go into the spiritual realm, and if we were in this shed right now, it would all become slightly dark and twisted, and everything would just be a bit, and it would help you solve puzzles, because a gate that's there or a doorway that's there in the real world, when you go into the spiritual world, it's not there. So that's how you used it to sort of solve puzzles, and you'd flip between two worlds.
Like the upside down.
Yeah. But there was no loading screen. It would just happen. So on the PS1, this was like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So I started playing it on Switch, and it's shit.
Oh, no.
It's shit.
Why is it shit?
It's just like what I forget with these things.
Just these like lumping like, hello.
Yeah, what I forget with these things, I always think, look, graphics, I don't care about graphics. So maybe I can still play this game. What I forget is just how different gameplay was more than 20 years ago.
We used to just eat swill back then, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did, because we'd never had swill before.
We'd never had swill, and it's just...
We were like, this is delicious swill.
Yeah, and it's kind of... And the worst thing is, because it's been remastered, the graphics are now nice. So actually, it's like dating a hot person who's had a lobotomy. Do you know what I mean? You go, well, this looks great.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I'm not getting anything out of you.
You're giving a mid-20th century Kennedy. That's you're simulating that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which was a shame because I never got to play this edition that I've got a physical edition for the Switch, and it's got Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver and Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 2, which I always wanted. I was so obsessed with the idea of getting it, but it was announced only for the PlayStation 2. And as a PS1 kid, I was like, if we all vote with our wallets and don't buy the PS2, they'll admit it was a mistake and they'll release all games for the PS1. And by the time I did get a PS2, it just wasn't part of my life anymore, and I wasn't fussed, and I never bought it and I never played it. So I'm looking forward to playing the sequel next year.
Okay.
But the topic we're doing, which is, Sarah, this is your suggestion, of which games, because there's been no Soul Reaver for more than like 24 years now, which games that are forgotten or just stopped or got cancelled would you like to see revived? Full revival, free remaster, reboot, remake, whatever. What are you like, God, I wish that made a comeback?
Button Boys.
I don't trust a remaster.
Right.
Ever. I don't.
Is this because of Dark Souls being remastered?
That's the thing. Occasionally they're all right. I
Yeah.
think Dark Souls is a good remaster, but I feel like I've been burned by a lot of them. I think Time Splitters is not.
Yeah.
They feel like that myth about bringing somebody who's died back to life,
It's
and
Pet
you're
Cemetery.
like, you don't
Yeah.
belong in the mortal world anymore.
Yeah.
It's wrong. There's something wrong with them. And
Yes.
you were just saying this with Kain. It's like, it's not right.
I watched Frankenstein on Netflix last night. I was
Yeah.
messaging you about it because we sort of shared some of the same thoughts on it. But I was wondering at first why, when Oscar Isaac's demonstrating his ability to like a panel of people,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "This is heresy,"
Yeah.
and everyone's like furious at him. I was like, "Why?" And then I get it now. I get it because
It's a remaster.
he's remastered
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
Leave it.
Just leave it. But if I could have a remake or a new version, actually, in fact, not a remake, a new version, I'd have Simpsons Hit and Run and Simpsons Road Rage.
Wow.
The Simpsons just haven't been around now in games for a long time. Obviously, there's Simpsons Fortnite, which has
Mad.
been huge.
It looks crazy.
It looks crazy. The idea of walking around Springfield to scale.
shooting
that
everyone.
does sound good. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. I was trying to work out in my head what makes a good remaster, what makes a good remake, because System Shock had a really good remake a couple of years ago, because what they did was, from a distance, it looked like you're playing a 2025 game, but whenever you like zoomed up to a control panel, it looked like it was like 1998 all over again.
that's
It was
nice,
everything was
yeah.
really blocky, and actually a lot of like the enemies you were fighting looked a bit two-dimensional. You were like, if I ran around the side, it would be like Kate Moss in Family Guy. There's nothing. So I was like, I quite liked I wasn't a fan of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake this year because it felt like a remaster, and I'm aware lots of people loved it. One thing I did like was that they didn't update the speech of anyone. so that it still had that PS2, PS3, or even PS1 era thing of a character saying, well, you're obviously going to need some food, so press the action button to pick up your things. And you'd go, what the fuck are you talking about?
The action.
Yeah, exactly. I quite like that. I still find it, like in Metal Gear Solid, the original, I did enjoy when you get tortured by Revolver Ocelot, and it takes you out of the scene so much. So nice before, he's like, press X and circle alternatively until your stamina runs out, and I'll know if you're using auto fire. What the fuck is this?
We talked about that with the training in the World War II games.
Yeah.
Tap R1 to pick up your rifle.
Exactly that. And I quite like that they just left it in. You go, yeah, it's kind
Don't
of...
mess with it.
Yeah, but it should have a little like disclaimer at the top, a bit like racist Disney films on Disney Plus, where it's like, these do not necessarily reflect the dialogue that we use now. They would have said, just pick up the snake.
But I think I'm thinking more like, what's a game where you're like, it's just sad that they didn't take all of the good stuff of that and then make a perfect version of it now. Like, what's
a
remake, it's Age of Empires.
Yeah.
I think Battle for Middle Earth.
Yeah.
I would love to play a really revamped version of Battle for Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Well, with Lord of the Rings, there was the like the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of Middle of Earth, where they had this
Return
Nemesis
of the
system.
King game.
Yes. So movie tie-ins. Movie
Yes.
tie-ins don't exist anymore. And I remember Simon Podcasts on his Parkin was talking about someone questioned why you don't really get those anymore.
Yeah.
And it's because back in like 2002, you could churn out a Matrix game in like 6 months. A team could do that with the technology.
Yeah.
And now games have such long build-ups. You don't really get a movie tie-in. What you get instead is a season on Fortnite. You get a little... Oh, look, there's a customizable skin in Call of Duty that's going to... You can play as John Wick in the film, so there'll never be a standalone John Wick game.
I loved the Matrix games. I loved Return of the King. Return of the King was such a good game.
Because the cutscenes were the movie.
The cutscenes with the movie, you could play as most of the characters. I think you could play as Gimli, Legolas, Aragorn.
And Aragorn, it was that three.
Yeah.
It was all about their journey in the Two Towers.
Yeah.
So it culminated in Helm's Deep. But you never really saw what Frodo and Sam were up to.
Yeah.
And at no point did
Was
it just
there
show
a level
Boromir's
where
grave.
was there a level where you were them, or have I mixed that up with a different game? Was there a level where you're
I'm certain that would have been a different game. I really think it was just
Merry
those
and Pippin,
three.
maybe?
Merry and Pippin were with them.
Maybe?
You definitely could play as Frodo.
Really? Was that shit?
It was.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like tap X to argue with Goblin about Ring.
Yeah.
The Helm's Deep level of that game was so good.
Kicking down ladders.
Kicking down the ladders and the impact of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was one of the coolest bits of the film. I
Yeah.
mean, in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you get sieged and you're in a castle and you've got to stop attackers from invading. And they do exactly the same thing. Hold down X and it'll kick the ladders down. I'm like, yeah, why isn't this in more games?
Yeah.
It's such a cool thing to do.
But why do you think they've done it with? Is it because they're making a series now, like a Hogwarts, and we try not to talk about Hogwarts
Because we just get too excited.
we fucking love it, and we're
never get
going to
ahead.
wait till the author guests on the pod. Why have they done that with Hogwarts, or has it just been like this has been something that has been in the pipeline for a really long time? Why wouldn't they just come back to us and say we've made a really fucking good Lord of the Rings game?
Yeah.
It's strange. I think the last movie tie-in I played was A Quiet Place. A game came out. An A Quiet Place game. Okay, that sounds like acquired taste. I didn't like saying that. An A Quiet Place game came out about a year or two ago, and it was like Alien Isolation. And it was actually like a
that's
really
clever.
solid, like 7 out of 10 experience where when you were sneaking around environments, you had to be careful because there's glass on the floor and your character's got asthma. So you've got to make sure you don't get too overstimulated because otherwise you have an asthma attack and it's loud. But I was like, yeah, in lieu of, we're waiting for ages for the next Alien Isolation game, which is in development, but it's probably several years away. It was like, yeah, why can't more teams make games like this? It's because of the lead-in cycles and the budgets. They know they're not going to make that money back. Whereas if you introduce an A Quiet Place Alien into Apex Legends for a week, then it'd be great. I mean, that's not a real example, but that's kind of what it would be.
And you make as much money or more
Yeah.
by doing the mashups.
On the Discord, because we put this out as a punt on the Discord, for games that people want to see revived, I found quite tellingly, firstly, the Haley B said Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver said it got a remaster recently, but it ruined the memory that I had of the game. So it's like, I'm glad it's not just me.
Wow, it's memory ruining.
Yeah, but loads of people suggested Peter Molyneux games, and I think for a specific reason. Now, Peter Molyneux created Theme Park, Fable, Black and White, and is basically just a master of overpromising things.
Yeah.
To the point where when he announced his most recent game. It's called like Masters of Albion or something, and it's like a city builder, but it's set in the Fable universe. When he was like doing a live announcement of it was like a politician announcing budget cuts. Like the audience were like going, "Boo!" And he's like, "Your character will be able to do this." And I was like, "No," and he's like, "You will be able to." And he's actually had to like.
Because they don't believe him.
Yes, because when Fable came out,
There will be gaming features for hardworking families.
when the first Fable came out, he promised that if you drop an acorn on the floor, it will over the next few months it will grow into a tree. And it obviously was not in the game.
Yeah.
And he just gets. The problem is he would get overexcited in interviews, come up with an idea, and just commit to it there and then in the interview, forget all about it.
I love that.
But he's had to now say about his new game. In order to restore some credibility, he's literally in an interview. He was like, "I'm dying," and he's not. What? He was just like, "My life is measured in days, not years. I drink too much and I smoke, and this is the last one." And it was like, right, so you haven't been diagnosed.
He just started rambling about the end of time.
Yeah.
Who is this person?
Right, but loads of people suggested, "Oh my God, I want to see a Dungeon Keeper remake. I want to see the Fable game come out
I've
sooner."
not gone long left.
Yeah, and
I've not gone as long left as when I made those last ones.
So I think the reason why so many people...
I had so much time then, and now I have less time.
Time for me moves forward.
Yeah.
It's not like all of you ageless elves.
So I think the reason why it's resonated with so many people on the Discord is because they didn't get those games that were promised to them, and as a result, were like, "Yeah, I want to see Black and White made," because Black and White was a sort of god game where you were just in control of civilizations and they'd worship you, and you could be capricious and mean, or you could be nice.
You were the god. You could be like sort of bullheaded winged god and give things to your followers and give them sheep and things. I think my younger sister was a big fan of Black and White.
Astrates on the Discord said Dungeon Keeper, which is another Peter Molyneux one. A Dungeon Keeper was a nice kind of twist on an RTS in which you ran a dungeon that gets invaded by the heroes. So a bit like we were talking about on Patreon, you get like you're essentially the baddie. So you were running a dungeon full of horrible orcs and goblins, and like in Theme Park, you were looking at it from isometrically, but you could at any point just walk around it in first person.
Ooh.
Any game that did that, you'd be like, you want to see that in modern day graphics.
Yes, yeah, that kind of level of zooming in that
Yeah.
you do get from like the Total War games.
Yeah,
Suddenly you're down to an individual guy. Oh,
I think for me, Rockstar games, early Rockstar games, I'd like to see remade. LA Noire, I think, is due a remake because I
with
could
better faces.
with better faces.
Doubt.
It's such a funny game to play, and it shouldn't be. But it was good fun, and it was nice being like a detective and looking up the clues and trying to... I never read someone's facial expression correctly once.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't kill him. And when you go, not telling the truth, and they go, actually, no, that is truthful.
Yeah.
What is it then?
He
Yeah.
farted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bully, I'd quite like to see remade, I think, because Bully looked
yeah.
quite cool, and I played it on iPhone, and it just wasn't... It was a bad port.
We had a PC game that I have thought about a lot in the years since, and I couldn't work out what it was, and I dug it out on Google. Tonic Trouble. Do you ever play that?
That sounds
What is
familiar,
that?
but I couldn't tell you what it
Little
would look like.
Character that's similar to Rayman in that he's sort of bodiless with floating arms and head.
Yeah.
And I remember this sort of almost like luge style level when you're like going through like, in my memory, it's like ice or something like that. But I remember being obsessed with this game on the PC. And I was like, this is one of those games where if they made it, when they remastered it, it would definitely ruin the memory because
Yeah.
the feeling I have in this memory cannot match the reality of what this thing was.
I feel the same way with over Christmas. I'm going to pick up my old PlayStation 2.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to buy loads of games on eBay that I always wanted to play as a kid and be like, oh, Vagrant Story, this JRPG that I read about when I was 8 years old and I never got the chance to, and it's just locked onto PS1, 2, and 3. But I know it will be crap. Because it can't be good.
Yeah.
It can't be good. The game, because the gameplay is going to be so abrasive. I'm fine with like a NES or SNES game because the controls are so simplistic, it was fine. But I was so excited a few years ago, this is in lockdown, to play Manhunt, another Rockstar game.
Yes.
And Manhunt 2 got banned. So that felt like a really cool forbidden game. And it always felt really cool as a kid, like the idea of it, of like, oh, you're playing this like guy's broken out of prison or been broken out of prison. You're a convicted murderer and you were being tasked with basically making a snuff film. And so you basically had to like stealthily kill people with horrible like shards of glass and plastic bags. And Brian Cox was the director. And
Of the films?
Yeah, of these snuff films. So it had the narration of Brian Cox throughout. In like regular Brian Cox voice. It wasn't like Logan Roy. So, do you like killing homeless people, son?
You're not a killer.
When you die, it goes, fuck off.
Yeah.
Sausages. He just says,
Yeah.
"That's the-"
Chef, honey, I think your dad is killing a lot of crystal meth addicts. And so is Greg. Mr. Roy, I really like killing unhealthy people.
It's the jack off show.
But I
The average man on the street, he comes home, he's worked all day, he wants a hamburger and a snuff film to jack off to. And I give him that.
Okay, Dad. I played it a lot. It was impossible.
Yeah.
Because
Really?
you don't have like full control of the camera, and I'm just like, the gameplay was just so completely different to what we're used to.
Yeah.
And you just can't play it anymore.
Is it like back when Neanderthals were like prime physical specimens?
Yeah.
Is it that the video games were so hard to play that people playing them were so fucking good?
I think you ate what you were given. I think it's
the,
that.
the
You
tool-
learn.
the tools they had were so rudimentary that they had to be incredibly skilled.
Yeah.
But now in 2021, I was going, why can't I rotate the camera? That was not even in my head as a concept as a 10-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So as
You
a
just
10-year-old,
accepted it.
yeah.
So maybe it's that.
Yeah. You ate what you were given and you couldn't envisage an easier world.
Yeah.
No.
There's a type of game that's died out that I really, really wanted to play. And one is a game called Conflict Desert Storm, and one's called Project Eden. These were really early PS2 games. Again, most of mine are like, these were the launch titles for the PS2, and by the time I bought a PS2, they were long since forgotten. And so
Yeah.
those are the ones that still resonate with me of like, fuck, I would like to play that. Project Eden, you were part of like a maintenance squad of 4 people, all with different abilities, in a futuristic society where everyone lives in skyscrapers. The richest people are at the top and the
Yeah.
slums are at the bottom. And you are making your way down from the top of this tower all the way to the bottom to basically perform maintenance in a series of puzzles. But you switched between, it was single play, but you switched between each of the 4 characters with their individual abilities. Conflict Desert Storm was set in like Q8 in the 90s or
Yes.
the 80s. And the idea was you had one medic, one sniper, one general assault rifle guy,
Yeah.
and one person who was good at like bombs. And again, you could play it in single player and you switch between each of the 4 of them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you sort of
yeah.
set up your own targets. Like, okay, if I'm a sniper, I kill this guy, which means the medic, I switch to the medic and he can sneak into that tent.
Yes.
That's died out as a genre, I think, because multiplayer is just so prevalent.
There was an aspect of that in Medal of Honor Pacific where, yeah, I think you could switch between, but yeah, you were a member of a squad and your squad had a medic and a sniper and and you could revive each other and stuff. It might have been, I think it
Yeah.
was the first game I played with being rezzed.
Stuff like that is so exciting. isn't it,
yeah.
when you
New
go-
mechanics.
Yeah, who's
Yeah.
all of that?
Ico or Eco, that's one that always like really stood out to me as a PlayStation game. That the creators then went on to make Shadow of the Colossus, which is considered one of the greatest of all time, and then The Last Guardian, which I think is my least favorite game of all time. It is my least favorite game of all time because the idea is you are a child in this sort of mystical society where it's quite Zelda-esque, in which it's like lots of sort of like sandstone and temples, and it's all dilapidated, and the music's soaring and delightful, and everything's in a made-up language, and you play as a kid in sandals and a sash or whatever, and you just have this enormous kind of pet flying cat dog thing. Enormous.
Oh, yeah.
But the idea was in The Last
Never-ending
Guardian.
story.
Kind of,
I
yeah.
was thinking Avatar,
Yeah.
Last Airbender.
Yeah.
But the idea was that mechanically, it was like, yeah, this is as reliable as a dog. So sometimes you'd go, I need the dog to go through that door there, and you call it, and it just won't, and it does it in its own time. So, like, yeah, sometimes it might take 2 minutes to do a puzzle. Sometimes it takes 25 minutes because it's that dog is reacting like a real dog would.
You should
And
have
I'm
trained your dog.
like, yeah, then you go, sorry, I'm playing this.
So
I
like,
bought this game.
like an untrained dog, in other words.
Yes, but the issue is with that is if you've played any video game before, when you try and get a character to do something and it won't, you go, well, I'm in the wrong then. So
Yeah.
I must be looking at the wrong puzzle.
Yes.
So I played the game for hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Being like, I
Trying
can't
to
get this
work
to
out
work.
what you're meant to do.
But like, so in this companion dog cat thing,
Yeah.
it's like a magical.
It's
like
yeah.
it's there to help you.
infuriating.
And
isn't it?
but it's-
Being a dogless person dealing with a dog.
Exactly. As somebody who doesn't like pets, I'm
Okay.
like, this is
No.
hard work. Yeah.
Fucking no.
But like, if it's supposed to be a dog that's not just like a pet, like it's
Yeah.
like your magical guardian.
Ish. The idea is you want it to break through that wall so you can go through. You're kind of getting it to brute force its way through things. It's not a clever animal.
Okay, but even an actually trained dog does things that it's told to immediately.
Yeah.
So-
Exactly.
So what they've done is they've gone, like dogs. And you go, no, like your dog.
Yeah.
I think the idea is
Worse than a dog.
Worse than a
you
dog.
meet this animal for the first time, so I think over the course of the game you're training it.
Okay.
But I didn't like it.
No.
But Ico, I'm sure I would dislike even more. But it just felt so because you can't play it anymore because it is on the PS1. You are a warrior who is leading a princess by the hand through various environments, and you're solving puzzles. But when you want to go somewhere with her, I think you did have to lead her by the hand. And when you are solving puzzles, bad enemies come in and basically try and steal her and take her away, which is one of the worst mechanics you get in a game. No one enjoyed it in Resident Evil 4 when, this person starts getting carried away and you've got to go over and slash them a bit and then you can go back to your puzzle. Reliance on NPCs is horrible in games. Yeah.
And an infinite escort mission. What if the entire game was an escort mission?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Over Christmas, I'm going to try and dig out my PS2 and play the Wallace and Gromit game.
And finally get out of the zoo.
Finally
Yeah.
get
Get out of the zoo, yeah.
That's what I'm going to try and find it. If I've still got
Yes.
that game should be somewhere.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're off the
Get it
hook
online.
because you're the only person so far who has completed our game shame to-do list because it was literally like our second episode where we were like, what are the games you feel most ashamed about having not played? Yours was Zelda, which you now have played.
Yes.
Yours is Halo.
Yeah.
Mine's Minecraft. We've only got a couple of weeks left to play them
You
and
better,
form thoughts.
you better get on Minecraft then, Glenn.
Yeah. I've got two that I loved from the PS2.
I'm not saying anything, Ben.
It's not going to change me as a person.
Yeah. Just be careful.
There was a game called Freedom Fighters. I played it on PS2. The idea was Russia invaded America, but literally like the D-Day landings. It wasn't like they just bombed America. They literally arrived in New York one day. And the idea is you're just a regular guy. You're walking down the street and suddenly there's Russian tanks going down through Times Square. It's fantastic. The idea was you could have 12 companions with you. And all you could do was just say defend or attack. But that still felt cool having that big a squad. And what it was quite nice, each region you went to, there'd be 3 possible levels you could go to. And one would be a comms tower and one would be an aid tent. And it was a case of if I do the comms tower, if I do the first half of the comms tower mission first and blow up the comms tower, that means there'll be fewer enemies if I go into the second level. And so you were basically dipping out of different levels, making incremental progress, knowing what you were doing in one level was having an effect in another level. And that was quite new. I hadn't really seen that before.
That's good.
And another one was Second Sight, which was made by the people who made Time Splitters. So it looked like Time Splitters, but in third person. And you were playing a guy with basically psychic abilities in a facility. So it was basically kind of like Metal Gear Solid, but you would just use your mind and just throw guards against the wall and stuff like that. It was the first time I'd ever seen ragdoll physics in a game.
Yeah.
And those you just cannot find now. You just cannot play them on a console.
I just want them to remaster the Cossacks series.
So when did Cossacks end, and what was it? What was its heyday?
Its heyday would have been the noughties, I think, mid noughties, and then they brought out Napoleon, Cossacks Napoleon or something.
Yeah,
and that was really good. And they did change the mechanics a lot for that in a way that I loved. But the game was very janky.
Right.
It just stopped running. It was one of those games where it's unless you still have Windows XP for some reason, you can go fuck yourself if you want to run this.
Oh, shit.
So I've got it on Steam, and I could, in theory, play it at any time. Weirdly, the older Cossacks games
are fine.
Run in a way that the newer one doesn't.
This is a strange thing about tech. I feel this way about the PlayStation Plus collection. They've got a classics collection, and they're focusing almost entirely on PS1. You go, great, it's nice to finally play Ape Escape, but there's stuff that's locked on the PS3, and I'm like, that is more pressing to me, because that was quite recent.
They should have gone back 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, and then your big reward is original Tomb Raider.
Something that's essentially just from your mind now, from your perspective now, a series of blurs fighting each
because
other.
I was going through that classic section and I was like, I'm intrigued by medieval.
Yeah.
But
I'm
with
not
TV time,
I'm not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, for me, that's a PS Portal in bed thing where I'm it's on in the background. The game I'm playing is on in the background, and I'm focusing on the TV show. There was a game that I always wanted to play and never got to called Incredible Crisis, which was incredibly Japanese. You were playing a businessman in an office, and then what happens is it's basically like Buster Keaton the movie. You ended up hanging from a clock. You ended up in a paramedic's trolley racing down the street, and everything was just button bashing mini games.
Nice.
But again, it was something I only saw screenshots of. Played it now, I'd hate it.
Yeah,
I know it's almost none of these are this would be a good idea. But I want to answer a question for 10-year-old me.
Yeah,
is kind of what I want to do.
Yeah.
Somebody on the Discord was saying Sims the herbs. Do you remember that?
God, yeah.
The herbs.
Yeah.
What was the herbs?
It was I think it was to try and get more young people into The Sims, and that it was the like urban. So they were just like, it was cool.
It was like apartments and stuff.
Yeah, it was apartments, and they
no
had,
one owned their home.
They had like hair, like dyed hair, and like just like an edgy look around them. Yeah.
So
there's
what,
a crazy
French,
hobo in the
what
alleyway.
a French textbook would think a cool person is.
Yeah.
There's a crazy hobo in the alleyway rambling, but it was just in English. Because it can't just be gibberish because it's all gibberish.
Yeah. And to them,
So
it's Tarzan.
It's perfect English.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's Shakespeare. He's reciting
He's
the
reading
entirety,
the 10 o'clock news.
entirety of Hamlet, and they're all just going, "Don't look about
Cross the road.
The Getaway.
Yeah.
Despite it, I think, being one of the most racist games I've ever played in my life.
Really?
Well, because you were working for some Cockney geezer, and when the triads and stuff were involved, he was just saying real life slurs that I'd not heard as a kid. I was like, this game's educating me really badly. But it was quite cool to see like a Google Maps, a version of London that was like completely accurate.
Yeah.
Everything was accurate, including the racism. And that was quite cool to go to like Leicester. As a kid who'd been to London twice, obviously didn't know anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, Big Ben, Buckingham Palace. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done London.
There we go.
Yeah. Right. What we're going to do is I think we're going to wrap things up there, and we're going to carry this conversation on our Patreon. So if you want to hear more Button Boys in your life, and you can sign up to our Patreon, it's just £5 a month, and you get access to an extra whole episode of Button Boys every single week, plus access to our back catalogue, so more than 20 episodes that you can listen to right now, where we basically carry on whatever the topic of the episode has been. We have more video games chat, our video gaming gripes. We finished our playthrough of Dark Souls, which you can listen back to, and also every week I recommend a game that I think you probably haven't heard of, but you might just enjoy. Also, you can gift subscriptions to people. If you know someone who's a big fan of the podcast and you want to give them a nice gift for Christmas, then you can give them an entire year's subscription for Button Boys at a discount as well. But it'd be lovely to have you on board. You can also sign up to the free tier of the Patreon, which gives you access to our Discord. So when we put out a punt, for instance, like which game would you like to see make a revival, we'll probably read out your suggestions on the pod as well. Do please subscribe to us on YouTube if you like to watch us there. Give us a rating on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast, and tell your friends. It's been a pleasure having you listen. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Pierre. I've been Glenn Moore. We'll see you next week.
Love you.
Button Boys.